Okay, I heard about the good answers for how to bring better economy, better business in Markham, and have a solution for traffic. So now we need to bring the people in or stay in Markham. How do you, all of you, think about how to keep Markham be a place people can live there? Can it be affordable for both housing and rental? According to the statistics, around 30% of the Markham population are under poverty. So we should think about how to let people, if they choose to stay in Markham, they can find a place to live. And also they can stay in Markham, to spend in Markham, and also to work in Markham. This time I'd like from Jack from that side.
Is this the last question?
My question is...
No. Is this the last question, or do we have another one? After this? Okay.
And looks like Markham's going to take away the rooming house. So how do you feel it? Do you agree or not?
Sorry, buddy. Yeah, there we go.
I'm trying to get the mic. It's wrapped around water bottles and things like that. Affordable housing is something I spoke about earlier, and you're absolutely right. There are a significant number of people in Markham. Affordable housing is important to them. A number of seniors, for example, and senior service. I'm the chair of Housing York. And we bring on new buildings. We're just doing one in Unionville quite regularly, but we can't keep up. The issue is land and the affordability of land, finding the land and the affordability. And I believe very strongly in the next term of council, that's something we have to do. I think it's also important, when we talked about affordable housing, we can get into second suites, basement apartments. I believe very strongly that we have to make them safe. We have to approve them. We have to find a way to regulate them. There are about 8,000 or 10,000 of them in the city of Markham, and I certainly support that process so that we can make sure that everybody has a housing that is safe and that they've been approved on the building code and they're approved by the fire.
Yeah, thanks for your minute.
Thank you.
Thank you for your minute.
So in regards to the affordable housing,
and affordable rental as well.
And affordable rental, take an example for the late Tony Wong, who was a very big advocate for affordable housing, and the people dedicated the Tony Wong Place, with his name. It's just unfortunate that the people that are doing this at the Tony Wong Place, it's been pushed under the rug by the city. I think we need more. We need to get more land and develop more places like the Tony Wong Place. In terms of rent, right? The rent has. Of May of 2018, the rent has increased to $1,650, which is a 19.82% increase from last year and a 10% increase from last month, right? I believe we need to put a cap on rent because uncapped rent is not sustainable in the future for people that want to come and live here. I also want to make sure that organizations that support affordable housing get more advertisement, get more promotion, so that other people feel encouraged to also create this sort of affordable housing.
Okay, thanks for a minute.
So to both affordable housing and rental, I think one of the biggest problems we have in the province of Ontario is the length of time to get through the process. I raised this with the previous government. I am raised it again with the current provincial government. We identified new neighborhoods over 4 or 5 years ago. We started studies in advance of the approval process. We're still waiting to get comments from provincial agencies. So we have to shorten the time. By the time someone actually gets to build a house or buy a house and move in, it'll probably be over 10 years. That's way too long. That's why the price of housing has gone up. I don't know what you mean about burying things under the carpet. I've been very supportive of the MICA organization that has built affordable housing. We've supported them on Water Street. We've supported the investment at Union Villa. We're building over 200 units there. So the issue is, this is something that we need the other levels of government to work with us, because through the incentives and hopefully tax breaks that they can offer, we can get the industry moving.
My dear fellows, Markham, affordable housing is it's a very important question, and everybody is talking about affordable housing. But keep in mind one thing. This is a task, you know. If we bring 5,000-10,000 houses here, definitely then the population is increasing, and affordable housing people, they need every single day commuting in a Markham. So we try to do the best thing, which can help middle class people. Rent is gone up. We should discuss about these things in the council, how we can bring the down rental things, and how can our generation, my own kids, they cannot afford to buy a house in Markham. We have to sit down, and we have to be very friendly atmosphere. We think about that, how we can make this city affordable for the new generation and for the middle class people. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you. So I'll just touch base on the affordable housing. Yes, I do agree with Sir Jack and Mayor here. We do have builders, and they keep building on it. Fortunately, we need to come up with a plan that we can work with the builders to say, if you're building these many housing units, you're going to build us few affordable housing units as well. It is something that we can openly speak about to the developers and builders to come with it. And the short-term rentals that's been going on in the city of Markham, if you're using your house as a hotel, you need to be taxed differently. Those units should be a long-term rental, but if you're using it as a short-term rental units in the city of Markham, you need to be taxed differently as according to it. And that will alleviate a lot more issues and promote affordable housing and rental units in the city of Markham.
Thank you. Okay, Jim.
I'll just bring up one point. The point is that we got to start doing a transition from our GO stations and making them 20, 30 acre parking lots. We got to start building rail integrated communities, high-rise condos there, and hopefully by having one day a connected rail network interconnected for both York Region and Southern York Region and Toronto, we eliminate the need for one car and have a complete community, so when a person gets off the train, all of his daily shopping is there, and start to eliminate the need for a car. We got to do this planning this term, and at the same time, we got to look at morphing the GO lines into more a subway type service, more connectivity, and more stops. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Ray.
I would like to relate to your personal story. I'm one of those people who lived in an illegal rooming house. 15 years ago, I lived when I was at the University of Waterloo. I didn't have the money, I was a student. So I lived in a house with 13 other people, a bungalow. That is not meant for more than 5. That is because the city of Waterloo had really bad bylaws and zoning practices. And it proliferated these illegal rooming houses. They learned their lesson. They have good zoning bylaws now. And using our partners in the private industry, we now have safe housing for families, for students, which will be an issue for us when York University opens in downtown Markham. So we need good, sane zoning abilities here in Markham so that we can make good decisions, safe decisions for people who want to rent and live here.
Thank you, Ray. And Jack?
I agree we need integrated transportation communities. Unfortunately, the GO train station is just ineffective. It's one direction, and we really need to put it underground. And we can start with the Young Subway to Highway 7. We still can, along this stretch, that's where we plan ahead. We can then have each development along that station then continue to give back social housing, give back affordable housing by having developers help. So once the transportation is up, it takes care of the problems of a lot of people living in those areas. So it's really a one solution that solves many problems. It solves the transportation issue, the congestion, and it solves affordable housing. Because once the city buys that land for that station, then let's go up. Let's use the airspace. And there's no land out there. I've been trying 15 years working with the autistic community. I'm donating my time. We've been trying to find land. We just can't find any land to build anything in Markham. So we have to go up.
So.
Well, there's a lot of land. You know, Unionville Station, Montjoy Station, those are the free parking should be gone. It's going to be high-rise there. You can build affordable housing. You know, they can rent there very cheaply. They can come down, take the subway to downtown, wherever they want. This is the solution. People will talk about government cannot do anything. It's about time to invest, invite the private sector to come and invest those land that government own, and that's the perfect place to invest and get away from using the car. You know, if you keep on allow people to use car, we will never have this problem. You know, like you have to be creative. If we can continue to allow the Uber underground economy, which I don't know who they hire, which I don't know whether they're paying taxes, at least be practical, you know, like a minibus provider, they have to come to the city of Markham to register, they have to tell me who they hire, they have to tell me how much tax they're paying. So government should wake up, they should not prevent privatization to come in to do the service.
Aaron.
Yeah, so I believe in it because, as I mentioned before, you want everybody to be able to live, work, and play in Markham. And the most important thing is, though, it's not just about building affordable housing because, for example, the seniors and also the next generation, but the key is they have to be able to have that transportation. Because if you build it, it's in the middle of nowhere, nobody's going to go there, right? They can't get anywhere. So that is the key, that you have to build it. For example, downtown Markham, there's lots of land, close to the other GO train stations as well, for example. So that is key. So it's a two-part answer to this. Build, but also they must have the transportation that can sustain it.
Thank you, Aaron. Peter.
I agree with Mayor Frank about the process, 10 years. Before someone puts a shovel in the ground, they have over $100,000 in expenses, development charges, architectural fees, etc. Buying the land, the carrying costs, huge money, huge money. That has to be worked on. And it's sort of catch-22 because the region has a huge debt, you know, so we have to think about that. The other piece of it is the affordable housing, or the affordable housing, you know, the rental, not the non-profit, but the private. People need to invest money. They don't because, you know, it's very cumbersome. It takes a long, long time. The process has to be cut down, have to be assisted, and I think by bringing jobs, increasing the tax base, that's where we get the money to pay for it.
Thank you.
The province, just 1 second, the province to give up allocation for non-profit housing, they set something called a MUP, a maximum unit price, and you start adding up the land costs, the development costs, etc. It's virtually impossible to build non-profit housing anywhere in the region because of all the costs. So that has to be worked on.
Okay, thank you, Peter. I think Alex is going to pose the last question to all of you.
Last question from Toronto City Forum. After that, I'm moving to the floor. So the next question is, you guys know October 17th, the federal marijuana is coming. So Ontario government has made known to everyone that, you know, we can retail, we go to the retailer. And so the city of Markham already has sort of saying, you know, like we don't want any retail in the city. So, but one of the questions that has been opening up already just now, and it's like, wherever you smoke, you can puff. And I can tell you that in Markham High School, you know, just at the right east corner, which is facing the McCowan, they have a cigarette spot over there. So I'm sure there will be people talking about smoking marijuana. But drinking is also allowed now, right? So you can drink in the park. So you're drinking. Combine it, not yet, but it's coming, right? So if you drink and, you know, like a marijuana in the park, it's going to be a very big question. So there's actually a petition. Some of the volunteers sent me a petition, asked if Toronto City Forum can take this on, which take it very seriously. We're going to take this on. So we have to sort of say we should not get the cannabis puffing everywhere. So I want to ask, because it's so big that even some of the candidates, they also own, you know, like an investment or maybe even an operation or research company on marijuana growing. So it's getting so popular. So I'm sure once take it on, you know, maybe, you know, it will become something issue. Like municipal need to make sure that they have a good step. So my question to all the candidates, how do you deal with this marijuana is going to go on the smoke everywhere? So can this